Good morning, Boerne. Thanks for tuning in. This is the Boerne Brew. My name is Jeff Flinn. I'm the managing editor at the Boerne Star. We get together here every week, every Saturday with you folks listening and our guests who come in and help educate and entertain. That's the joy of a newspaper. That's what our job is to do, and that's what we're doing today here on 103.9 FM, the Boerne Brew, Boerne Radio. I have a guest here from Boerne Community Theater, Christine Crowley. She is the grand poobah down there. She's executive director, and she's taken off the executive director hat and put on the stage director hat. This is her presentation. It opened last weekend. This is a good weekend to go out and see it. It's the last weekend. It's called Seeing Stars in Dixie. So, Christine, welcome aboard. Thanks for coming in.
Well, thank you.
Tell us a little bit about what we're going on, what we've seen since January 17th. I was fortunate enough to stop in during a dress rehearsal and watch about, I stop in and shoot photos for like 4 minutes, and then I watch for about 20. So I'm getting that little bit extra there, which I enjoy tremendously. Tell us, Christine, tell us a little bit about Seeing Stars in Dixie.
This is a romantic comedy by Ron Osborne, and we've done 2 of his shows in the past. First Baptist at Ivy Gap, which was a few years ago, and then we did last January, Welcome Back to Ivy Gap.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Which was a sequel.
That was good.
And this one is not about Ivy Gap. This one is set in Natchez, Mississippi in May of 1956. And at that time, a lot of Hollywood stars arrived to shoot the film Raintree County.
Okay, that's an actual film, right? Okay.
Yes, and a lot of people thought it would be like a big epic similar to Gone with the Wind. It had Elizabeth Taylor, Montgomery Clift, Eva Marie Saint, Lee Marvin, and it didn't make quite the splash. Apparently it ran very long and they had to cut it. And I think the audiences loved it, the critics not so much. Anyway, they have arrived in Natchez, and it's all the talk at Clemmy's Tea Shop.
Clemmy's Tea Shop.
Yes. Clemmy is a widow turning 60, and that is a point in the play. And her friends, Tootie owns the local newspaper, and she is a real take-charge person. She's very funny. Jo Beth is a younger woman who aims to be a TV weather girl, back before they had real meteorologists on the screen. Girl. And then there is Marjorie, who is sort of a lady who has attained great social status in town and knows it. And there is also Gleese, who is a gentleman who frequents the tea shop and is a longtime friend. He owned a jewelry store. So that's the cast. Our featured actors are Carol Sweatman as Clemmy, and Carol has been in a couple of our shows, Liz Stiegelman as Tootie, Kendall Coim as Jo Beth, Robert Moritz as Gleese, and Lee Williams as Marjorie.
Okay.
Liz is the one who is new to our stage. She has extensive experience. We were very impressed with her resume.
I had her in a cut line, and I had to look up Stiegelman because I didn't want to spell it wrong. And when I did, it popped this. I said, is that the right Liz Stiegelman here in Boerne? Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, she is a research nurse. She doesn't live in Boerne, but in the area, as do most of the other cast members.
Right.
So we've had a great time. Our rehearsal schedule was complicated because we had Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. So we were supposed to open on January 10th, but I already had planned a Christmas vacation before I knew I was going to direct the show, and Liz was also going to be out of town, so we postponed it till the 17th. So instead of 3 weekends, we're doing 2. So this coming weekend is it.
Right.
We do have tickets available for every show, but the Sunday is becoming very close to being sold out. We have at 8 o'clock on Saturday and a 2:30 on Sunday. And yes, like I said, tickets are available. You can order them online from our website at boernetheater.org, or you can call the box office at 830-249-9166. Tickets range from $20 to $24. Now, if you're a season ticket holder, you have already paid for your tickets, and you just need to call and make reservations against that. And while I'm mentioning that, season tickets end up costing you a lot less per show. There's a big savings.
Right.
They are flexible. You get anywhere from 6 to several admissions to use during the season, depending on the level of membership you buy.
Right.
And you can use them however you want during the season.
Folks, the voice you're hearing is Christine Crowley. She's the executive director of the Boerne Community Theater. We've been talking about this weekend's wrap-up of the this is the first show of the season, correct?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Seeing Stars in Dixie. You can go tonight, 8 o'clock.
Tonight's at 8 o'clock, yes, and
Sunday
at
is
2:30.
2:30. You can get tickets for that. Christine, tell us, this is the kickoff of the season. Kind of run through the season for us and tell us what some of the highlights,
Okay.
hit win shows are coming up, and if there's something out of the ordinary, let me know.
Oh, okay. Well, the next show on the season is A Family Reunion to Die For. That is a comedy mystery presented by our teen troupe.
Okay.
And that will be February 20th to the 23rd. Following that, we have Tacky Gardens, which is a comedy. And this one's special for us because it was the winner of a playwriting competition sponsored by Theater Network of Texas, also known as TNT.
Okay.
And that will run for 2 weekends, March 28th to April 6th. We just literally cast that, and I think tonight they're having their first read-through. Yeah, so we're looking forward to that because there are 3 new people in the cast.
Really?
Yes, and that's always very exciting because it brings new blood to the group and it brings new audience members too.
That fresh face brings their fresh family members.
Absolutely.
Their
Yes.
coworkers.
Yes. Following that, we have a classic murder mystery by Agatha Christie, The Mousetrap.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone who has ever seen it, and I've been in it, and I still always have to remember, what's that surprise ending? So that's going to be a lot of fun. Following that, we're doing kind of a Western. It's called The Mountain King.
Okay.
It's by Lemuel Mitchell, who lives in Kerrville.
Oh, really?
It had its world premiere at the Overtime Theater in San Antonio last year, and the featured actor was Martin Vidal, who was one of our popular actors and directors. So we're looking forward to The Mountain King.
Right.
Following that, we have Don't Talk to the Actors, and it's a play about theater. It's very,
Imagine that.
Imagine. That's very funny, where a couple think that the playwright is going to get this play produced, and they ended up with all kinds of conflicts and problems and producers who have different ideas about the direction the show must go. That is going to run August 29th to September 14th. After that, it's another teen troupe show. We're doing Annie Jr., the musical. I know that will be very popular.
Right.
And remember, your season tickets are good for the teen troupe shows also. Following that, we have a farce by Joe Orton called What the Butler Saw. It's got, well, I won't say murder and mayhem. It's a psychiatrist who is trying to seduce his secretary, thinking his wife is out of town, and then she shows up. And so you can imagine all the ramifications. It should be a lot of fun. And then the last show of the season, and this is a fundraiser, so it's not available for season tickets. The night before Christmas.
Okay.
And as soon as I read it, the first few pages, I just knew we had to do this.
Now, is it the night before Christmas, or is it the night before Christmas and you did it twice?
No, although sometime we may do it again. I don't know, but no, it's the night before Christmas.
Well, I like that.
Yeah, and it's very redeeming about somebody who doesn't really have the Christmas spirit anymore, and he thinks he's going to take his wife to Hawaii and say goodbye to the snow and all the tangled up Christmas lights, and then they get stuck at the airport, and all kinds of things go wrong. It's a very funny show, and the playwright is new to us. It's Cricket Daniels, and she's from the Seattle area. So we're looking forward to some new shows, some old shows, all kinds of things.
You drive down Blanco Road, there's going to be cars out front of it every night of the year.
Yes. I always tell people, if you haven't been to our theater, if you drive by and there's a car out front, it's probably me, come on in. I'll be happy to show you around, sell you a ticket, take a donation, whatever. And a lot of people do drop in. 2 ladies came in yesterday while I was there and bought tickets for the show. Our box office is open 6 days a week from 10 to 12, and I'm often there, and I'm very glad to be there. So, again, if you see your car out front, come on in.
Teen Troupe. This is my first Dickens on Main this year. I enjoyed it tremendously. I could have spent double the 3 hours I spent, easily, because I was shooting things. After I got done shooting, I started trying to enjoy things. So I walked down one of the side streets. You just kind of walk around, turn left, turn right, and turn down one and walk. There's a stage with 150 chairs in front of it. And the teen troupe was up there. Tell us about what they produced. And I think the neat thing was they were on stage, they did their thing, and I kind of turned around and walked away. And then I was walking by the snow coming off one of the buildings, and there was the teen troupe walking through, doing carols or whatever they're doing. Tell us about teen troupe.
We've had a teen troupe since we were in our old building on North Main. We used to be where Nature's Presence is now.
Okay, right.
The teen troupe now is run by Patricia Hausman, who is our youth programs director. They have been participating in Dickens on Main for many years. This time around, they did a quick one-act version of A Christmas Carol. Believe it or not, you can kind of get it all synthesized into 30 minutes. And then they also serve as ambassadors. So they're strolling around in costume, helping people find things, giving directions, and they do some singing of carols.
Right, right.
They're very busy all year.
How many kids do you normally have, and has it swelled since its beginning?
We have had as many as 100 on the roster. No, they don't all participate in everything.
What?
I think after the pandemic, that slowed down quite a bit. Right now, I think there's about 40 to 50 kids on the roster, and at least half of them attend a monthly meeting.
Right.
They do a play and a musical each year, and each summer in June, we send them to the TNT Youth Drama Conference. And again, that's Theater Network of Texas. It's a statewide organization, and kids from all over Texas in youth groups like we have come for workshops and presentations. They win awards. It's a great time. They have social events. We hosted it here in Boerne back in 2014.
Okay.
It's a fairly costly enterprise, but they raise money all year to help pay for that.
Where are they going this summer?
This year they're going to Paris, Texas.
There you go. Say what?
Yeah, and they're excited about that. They've gone to Bastrop, they've gone to Deer Park, they've gone up to Louisville, they've gone out to Odessa. We usually send them in a bus. That's a big expense, but it's the safest way to make sure everybody gets there and gets moved around and comes home together.
You know, there's got to be a good play about Paris, Texas. Is there?
Well, I'll have to look that up.
There's an Italy, Texas, up by where Fort Worth and Dallas split.
There are several towns, cities in Texas with European names.
I tell my wife I'm going to take her to Italy.
I've seen a meme somewhere where you can sort of follow a trail to all these famous places and never leave the state.
So, folks, we're talking to Christine Crowley from the Boerne Community Theater. This weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we've got Seeing Stars in Dixie is the play that's going to hit the stage tonight and tomorrow. Get out there. It's a fun little presentation. The crux is that they're putting on a big production film. Yeah. The film actually happened in Natchez, Mississippi. It actually starred Montgomery Clift and Elizabeth Taylor.
Yes.
They will not be here tonight. I think they both have passed away. But no Liz Taylor, folks. Liz Taylor won't be there, but there's 5 practiced and well-rehearsed actors up on stage you can watch and be entertained by. And tell us about those people who have stage fright and don't want to be on stage, but they want to help. Tell us about some roles that fill behind the curtains or up in the box. Tell us about how people might get involved helping build sets, et cetera, et cetera.
Every production is produced by a team. Not only are the actors part of the team and the director and the assistant director, we have a stage manager who is in back, makes sure everything runs smoothly. We have stage crew, people who help to move scenery, help people dress. There's a lot of costume changes in Seeing Stars in Dixie, for instance. Someone else is running lights and sound. All of those are called crew. And if you work on a production at BCT, you get 2 comps that you can give to friends to come see the show.
When I was there shooting for the dress rehearsal, you're sitting out there, and there's somebody else beside you. So it's, I mean, you did not mention the directorship of being a part of the crew as well. Team leader, whatever you want to call it, they're out there too.
Oh yeah. Well, the director and assistant director, and this time around it was Robin Cunningham, who is our new board president, and he is looking to direct down the road. And I would say after this, he's ready. I was very impressed with the help I got from him. Somebody's watching the actors, and someone else is on the book to help them when they need a line.
Right.
And so if you're on the book, you don't get to watch the actors. So an important relationship, the director and the assistant director.
Right. Costume changes go on all the time.
We're looking at the scenes as the time goes by during the play, and we're figuring out how many outfits do we need to change. and they're back there. Nobody really has the luxury of even going down to the dressing room. You're backstage. You rip one thing off and slide another thing on. I was in a play a few years ago where I had like 3 T-shirts on. I was playing a teenage girl with an aging disease. So it's played by somebody my age.
Right.
And the scene changes were like, boom, boom, boom. So I would take one off, and I had jeans on and pull another one on, and that all had to happen backstage. So if you have any sense of being shy about changing, then maybe acting isn't for you.
Now, folks, we've all had miscues in our life. Most of them other people don't see.
Right.
I see a viral video of a guy graduating. He does a backflip and lands on his face, and the crowd goes dead silent because he's laying there. I mean, those type of things happen. Tell me about faux pas. What's a memorable faux pas in your career, and what's a memorable faux pas in BCT?
Oh, wow. There's a long list. I mean, it runs from everything from somebody forgetting a line maybe for a moment and just coming in a little too late, or looking around and hoping someone else will save them, and they often do.
Right.
I was out on stage in a production. It was called Fallen Angels by Noel Coward. I was playing the maid housekeeper, and 2 women were having dinner, and they were expecting a guest, some old lover of theirs. They have champagne in a bucket and everything, and they're getting drunker and drunker, and they want me to open another bottle, and it's, open it. Well, I tried to get the cork out. I could not get the cork out. During one weekend, the cork popped spontaneously and came down to my feet, and the director said later, "I wish you'd put your hand out and caught it." And I said, well, if I'd known that was going to happen,
right,
it would have been really cute. Yeah. The next time they got it in so well, I had to say, "I'll open it in the kitchen." And I walked off stage, and the college president was standing there playing this small part at the end, and I thrust it at him, and I won't say what I said, but I said, "Get this open." And he said, "Yes, ma'am," and he got the cork out, and I went back out and finished the scene. He never let me forget that.
Yeah.
He had to bring it up at every opportunity. It was funny.
Well, whenever you see him, say, "Hey, what was his name? First name?"
John.
John. "Hey, John, do you have a bottle?"
Yeah.
Every time you see him, "John, do you have the bottle?"
Yeah, it was quite a moment. And there's always things like that go on. A prop that's not in the right place, maybe you have to go off stage and get it. I was out at a show at the Old Fort Sam Harlequin Dinner Theater one year when somebody bumped a tea cart that had bottles of liquor and glasses on it, and a glass fell off and broke. It was The Nerd, and there's a scene in it where we're all standing there in our stocking feet with paper bags over our heads. And I could see the glass on the floor, and I knew we had to get rid of it. And somebody was going to step on it.
Right.
I moved over to one side, and the stage manager was standing there. She thrust a broom at me, and I took it and went and swept it all up, and we went on with the scene. I swept it up with that paper bag over my head. I could just see enough to get it out of the way.
There was a play out when I was in Carlsbad, New Mexico, and my wife was working the camera, I can't remember what she was doing. So I was there kind of supporting her, And there was a scene where there was a guy that was involved. He was a heavy drinker. And the woman was supposed to come up and say, "You've got to stop drinking." And he went to grab a bottle, and he knocked it over on the floor on the stage. He looked down and said, "I knew you were going to tell me to stop drinking." So
Yes.
I did. And she started laughing. As audience, you don't know that's not rehearsed. You don't know that's not part of it.
No, most of the time the audience does not know. Unless it's a show they know well, or maybe have seen it more than once. Years ago, I was in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, talking about a lot of drinking. And there's a bar with all these bottles on it, like in a bookcase. And we come in, and he makes me a drink. Well, the stage manager was in a wedding or something, and so the assistant stage manager had set the stage that evening. And I told him to get me a drink. George, I was Martha. And he comes over and hands me something that looked like whiskey. Martha was a gin drinker. So I took it, looked at him, wondered why he didn't give me the right thing. And I drank it, and then the next time I thrust the cup at him and said, and this time make it gin. Well, if looks could kill,
Yeah.
it turned out that the bottle of gin had gotten hidden behind something else, and he couldn't find it when he made me that second or third or fourth drink. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Or you have that 2.5 week run, and on the last day when you ask for the gin, they give you real gin.
I've heard stories that kind of thing happens. That's a no-no, but I'm sure it happens.
Folks, this is Christine Crowley from the Boerne Community Theater. We're talking about the season. This is the weekend wrap for their current production, Seeing Stars in Dixie. Good show. You ought to go see it. $20 to $24 tickets. Are there senior discounts? Are there military? Or we just have to bite it and pay $20 to $24 to get in and enjoy yourself for a weekend?
Well, the 20 is for students and military and first responders.
There you go.
The 22 is for seniors, 60 and up.
Okay.
The 24 is for regular adults.
Okay, great.
And again, if you bought a season ticket, those per ticket prices are considerably less.
Right. And every seat's a good seat in there.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
We have 86 seats. It's a small, intimate theater. There really aren't any bad seats, no poles in the way. When we bought the building, there was a pole sort of 2/3 of the way up, and we said, well, that'll have to come down. We had a board member at the time who was an engineer, and she said, that'll come down over my dead body.
Literally, no.
When they put the beams in to put the light grid in, the pole just fell down. It was barely anchored in like about an inch or so, and the building didn't fall down. Nothing happened. So, of course, I had to snap a picture of it and send it to her, and I said, I hope you think this is funny.
Yeah, but nobody's dead body was a result of
No,
this
no
being
dead
removed.
bodies.
And the cast of Seeing Stars in Dixie, we have 4 people who've been on the stage before. One who's new to the Boerne stage.
Yes.
But she's not new to the stage.
No,
Do you know some of Liz's background? Can you explain who she is?
Well, she has been in a couple of shows in Bulverde at Stage, which is a theater similar to ours.
Right.
I think she may have done some at Fort Sam in the past. She's been lots of places. She is a military veteran. She's a nurse. And I think that, she did a one-woman show over in New Braunfels playing Sue Mengers, who was a famous character, an agent. And I guess it was, a one-woman show is a big undertaking. She did apparently a great job. I did not get to see it, but I know several people who did. Now, she has raised the bar for us. She's done a great job. Lots of energy.
Yep. Now, Christine, you're years old. So it's,
yeah, that's me.
How was that? Years old. Pick a play and a part you would have always loved to have been a part of. Either a play you would love to have been a part of, or that role you would have loved to have played.
Oh.
That you haven't. You haven't done it. Okay. Or maybe you've been in the play, but you were in a different role.
Oh. Well, I'll tell you, several years ago, we had a production of Harvey. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you're familiar with that. I wanted to play Vita May, the sister to Elwood P. Dowd, who sees the rabbit, Harvey. My mother played that part, and my father played, I guess he played Elwood, years and years ago when I was a child. So we had auditions, and I read, and I was not cast. And I was so disappointed because it would have been so much fun.
Well, in the Ivy Gap one I saw, the most recent one, it was funny because they would talk about that's the way the Protestants do it, or that's the way the Episcopalians are.
Yes.
Yeah, that was funny. And there was one role, I can't remember the actual character's name, but I was like, if I had tried out for any role up there, if I was a female, I would have wanted that role.
Oh.
Even though I tried out, I don't think she was actually the lead, but, there's always that one actor in there that you would love to have played. You think of any movie or any comedy or any drama, there's always one role in there you think, God, that'd be cool to be that person.
I always wanted to be Jean Brodie in the prime of Miss Jean Brodie.
Oh, yeah.
Alas, I am much too old now. Yeah.
You're past the prime of Jean Brodie.
As an older woman, I have had some really great roles. My last time on stage in a full production was in 2019 when I was in Ripcord. Two older ladies who are forced to share a room in a kind of a retirement home. And mine is especially not happy about it. She's a real grouch. Yeah. We had a wonderful time with that. It was a comedy.
What's the most recent play you've been to outside of Boerne?
Oh, let's see. Wow, probably something in Kerrville. And I'm trying to think what. Isn't that awful? I'm like an indentured servant here at the theater because I often work the matinees, either hosting or doing box office, which means I can't go to see something
Well, that
else.
was my point was you can't think of the last show you've been to.
Except here.
But you worked hundreds of them here.
Yes, I work in some capacity on every show, whether it's not backstage, but usually front of house. And that's where we also need volunteers. 2 people do concessions. 1 person checks everybody in at the box office, and the host is a board member who greets people and makes sure they find their seats.
So let me put that plug in. Folks, if you're new to Boerne, if you're new to the theater, if you come here and you want to volunteer and find out more, but you're not quite sure you want to get on the stage, you need to come to Boerne Community Theater because you can volunteer. You can help build sets. You can do many things and be around the production and get familiar with the rehearsals. You can get familiar with the characters. You can see how somebody is stumbling over their lines practice after practice after practice, rehearsal after rehearsal, and then it all comes together.
Yes.
You can do that, folks. Don't be shy. I've got 2 friends who recently came aboard, and he was in one of the most recent productions. So, they're new to the theater. They're in and active, and you can be as active too, folks. So, listen, I want to thank you, Christine, for coming in. Christine Crowley, Executive Director of Boerne Community Theater. Tonight and tomorrow is the wrap-up for Seeing Stars in Dixie. Get out there, get your tickets, folks. 8:30 tonight, Saturday, and then
8 o'clock Saturday.
8 o'clock Saturday.
2:30 on Sunday.
Thank you very much. Boerne, have a great weekend, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.